Hi, this is Dan from Jerry's Camping Center. Welcome to your 19 Geo Pro. We're going to give you a quick walk around the outside, then we'll go inside and show you a few things there. So this is your main door. To open that up, you have the new fancy steps. Whenever you use those steps, you do want to make sure the door is all the way open. These just lift up. This allows the door then to close very easily. When you get ready to set them up, make sure the door is all the way open. There's a little catch here on the blue handle right here. You pull that handle. This comes down. These are your adjustments for height. And when you're done with the feet, you want to make sure that your door will close. If for some reason the door is not closing, your feet height are at the wrong height. Continuing on, this is your grab handle. This just lifts up, pushes to the side, but it makes it easier for you when you come in. This is outside electrical. This is where your outside griddle will hook onto. That's in the front storage compartment. Down underneath here, there's a quick connect for the gas. It has a yellow cap on it. There's also a lever on that. When you turn the lever, it'll let gas into the system. Hot water heater is here. When you get your trailer, the trailer will be winterized. That'll be a different video, or if you have questions on that, feel free to call us when you want to get that ready to go. Storage compartment here. This is where your water filter is also stored. Very easy access for that. All right, this is your water system. You have 3 different fittings here on the back. This is for winterizing. It has an antifreeze inlet sticker on it. It has a black flush, which is for the waste tank to help rinse out the waste tank. This also has a city water connection. It is very important that you recognize the difference between the 3 of them, since they're all the same thread. This is where you're hooking up for city water. It says black tank flush here, and this is where your inlet is. You also have 2 outlets up here for your cable and satellite. So this is cable over on this side. This is satellite if you're bringing that in. All right. Next is your ladder. This is the ladder walks up to the top. The roof is barreled on the top, so you do want to be careful if you ever go up on the roof not to fall off. It is pre-wired for a backup camera. Very easy to hook in. We can do that anytime, or we can send you the connections for that. On the bottom of the trailer, you have 4 stabilizer jacks. Those are meant to stabilize the trailer, not level the trailer. Next to that is your connection here for your sewer. You have a black and a gray tank. The gray tank has the gray handle, the black has the black handle. You take the cover off, a hose hooks onto that, and it goes into the dump station at the campgrounds. Very easy to use the second time. This is where your power cord comes in. Inside the trailer will be a much thicker, heavier cord, which is the 30 amp cord that comes with it. Hooks on the same way as this red adapter does on here. This is where your water is going to go in if you're going to use the pump on the inside rather than hooking up to city water. City water will not fill up your reserve tank. You do have to put a hose here if you want to use the water pump and fill the tank. Exhaust from the furnace. Right now it is working. It's hot to the touch, but you can easily tell if your furnace is working if hot air is blowing out here. Outside shower. Up above there is your stove top vent. Continuing on, this is storage underneath the bottom. It's pretty much a pass-through storage area to the other side. That's where your griddle and outside shelf are. Another storage compartment here. All the locks are going to be keyed with your key on the inside that opens the door. Will also open all the storage compartments and the outside shower. Continuing on, this is an outside light. This is the brake box. We'll have instructions on the inside on how that works. Very simple to use. Dual batteries in the front, so you have 2 12-volt batteries in the front. Underneath the propane is the battery disconnect. Sort of hard to see, but it is a disconnect. When it's straight up and down, it is on. When it's at 9 o'clock, it is off. Up here in the front, you have 2 propane tanks hooked in with an auto changeover regulator. If both tanks are open, the tank will be going in one direction, which is right here. There's an arrow going this way or that way. When that tank runs out, it goes to the other tank. So up here is your main control panel. This is for the interior lights. Each light has its own on-off button on it, so you can turn them individually on or off, but this sets them all off. This is for the outside porch light, outside awning light, and there's a little step light down here that turns on and off. This is for your awning to run in and out. Extend, retract, so if you push extend, that's going to run the awning out, which we are doing right now. When it runs in, you're going the other direction. There's a little clunk when it's all the way in. You do want to get a habit of running that awning in. If it's windy, don't tie it down, roll it up. Tank heaters on the bottom, which are pads that are stuck to the bottom of the fresh water, the black water and gray water to help keep them from freezing. Electric water heater. You have a gas water heater with a little red fault light. In a minute that should go out to mean, hey, I'm working. If the red light stays on, it means I did not light, I'm out of gas. Somehow you need to pay attention. So that should go off in just a second. We'll leave that go. See how it just went out, and it's going right now. You can sort of hear the noise in the background. This is your water pump. So if you're hooked to a hose, you do not need to run the water pump. But if you're running off the reserve tank, push that. That'll bring water from the reserve tank up into the camper. Then over here you have connections, gray water, black water, fresh water to tell you how full they are. The more level you are, the more accurate it reads. And then you also have battery. Battery will always read fully charged when you're plugged in. So to get a true battery reading, you have to be unplugged. You also have a control where you can run your awning. You don't have a slide out, but your lights, you can run those off of an app you can pick up in the Google store. The sticker will give you the code and everything else on how to get to that. Next up is your goodie bag. We send along a wiring diagram on how your batteries are hooked up. There's an appliance sheet that shows all the serial numbers of all the appliances in here. Inside the trailer is complete owner's book of everything that's in here. Plus they also have an online version on the sticker that we leave on the floor. Make sure you pull up the sticker so it doesn't stay on the floor and make a mark. Continuing on, all the cabinets open. We did adjust all the cabinets so they work very nicely. They go in and out. You have a radio. There's a remote in here for the radio. Actually, there is not a remote for the radio. This works off your smartphone. The TV, there is a remote for that. You do have to run a channel scan each time you run your TV if you're in a different area. Down here is your battery power from the roof. This right now is telling you have 13.7 volts. With the sun on there, that means it's working. And then if it wasn't full, you'd see these bars here changing up and down, letting you know that it's charging the battery up in the front. The other way to charge your battery is when you're plugged in, which is here, this converter box down here. This is where all your fuses and circuit breakers are. The fuses are for the 12 volt. The breakers are for the electric. There's a little fan on here. If it's overheating, it runs the fan. So we'll kick that on. All the fuses and breakers are marked on what they do on the inside. All right. This is your swanky refrigerator. On the inside is a control knob. Over here it says 1, 2, 7. The higher it is, the colder it is. And then when you get all the way up here, there's a 0. That's off. Works off at 12 volt. When you're plugged in, it will also work off the electricity, converting it over to 12 volt. This is the lock for the refrigerator, so it won't open on its own. Up above that is your microwave, just like a household microwave. Continuing on, this is your stove and cooktop. This has a light and a fan. I'm going to move the keys and the remote. This is one of my no-nos of the trailer. You do want to make sure if you ever lift the stove top, it folds back and lifts up. A lot of people try to go like this and lift it up, and they end up bending the hinges or breaking the glass. So you do not want to do that. To run the stove, you just turn it on. There's a little sparker. You see how that just clicks and lights on. You have that for all 3 burners. Do not cook on the glass surface. This is a control for your oven, very much like a water heater to light that. Faucet, this is where your faucet is for the sink. I have hot and cold water on that as well. All right, this is your bathroom. Right to the right in here is a little light switch that says on off. Again, you also have the control on each light to turn that on and off. You have a Power Max air fan. Crank that up. There's a lid over the top of that built in, so if you left it open and ran it during the rain, it won't come in. Toilet, very nice Dometic toilet. There's a little foot pedal you step on. It'll bring antifreeze into the bowl area. Drops it all the way down. See how it's pink? That's what you do on it's full of winterizing fluid right now. You don't want to use the little toss and tablets and RV toilet paper to help break down. So when you go to empty it, it breaks down. Sink faucets, hot and cold. And then probably the most important part over here is a water. There's a little lever down here which will help recirculate the cold water until the hot water gets here. We give you a little diagram that we leave in here as well. Shows you how the water miser works. Works out very slick. All right, next up is your Murphy bed. To make that up and down, super easy. You just lift up on this piece here. That'll make that fold flat. There's two catches on both sides. You release. And this comes down. You want to be careful not to put your finger in here so you don't pinch it. That comes down. You hear a little click and that locks into place. To set it up, you have a little lever here that pulls. That releases the catch so you can raise it up. Put the bed up. Before I lock it in, I'll raise this. Make it a little easier so I can reach these tabs in to help lock it into place. Like so, on both sides. All right, the last thing we have on the inside is your furnace. To run the furnace, there's a lever up here. You just take it and it clicks, and then the farther to the right it goes, the warmer it's going to be in the trailer. This here will read on the temperature that is in here. It's all auto lighting, so as long as you have battery power and propane, the furnace works great. One more, here's a couple more cabinets. These are all adjusted so they open and close very nicely. And then this is your air intake for the furnace. There's a blower vent over here. It heats up very nicely on the inside. The last thing we have is your power inverter. So if you're at a place that does not have electrical power, if you push this button right here, it'll turn green, which means the power inverter's on, which makes the outlets in the trailer hot. It won't run the air conditioner or microwave, but it will run the outlets and stuff you plug into it.